Hello there, you're watching the English News Edition on Canal Algérie, and I'm your host, Karim Zachary. In today's breaking news, Algerian nationals killed in axes linking Nouakchott to Ouargla. The Moroccan forces are tipped to be involved in the attack, and the presidency vows to take the appropriate measures. Plus, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, receives the Palestinian ambassador who ends up his mission in Algeria. And Algeria highlights the key role due to be played by women as part of the UN Peace and Security meeting. Good evening there. Those were today's headlines. First off in our news, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received on Wednesday His Excellency the Ambassador of the State of Palestine to Algiers, Amin Makboul, who paid him a farewell visit at the end of his term in Algeria. The audience took place at the Presidency building in the presence of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad Minister from Tal Amamra, as well as the Director of the President's Cabinet of the Republic, Abdelaziz Khalaf.
I was honored and very glad to be received today by the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, to bid him farewell at the end of my term in Algeria as ambassador of the Palestinian state. This meeting was an opportunity to affirm the unwavering and consistent position of Algeria and its support for the rights of the Palestinian people. The Algerian presidency is preparing to hold an Arab summit, for which we wish it all success. We also hope for a visit by the Palestinian president to Algeria in order to discuss issues of common interest, but also regional and international issues. During our meeting, President Abdelmajid Tebboune reiterated the position of Algeria vis-à-vis several Arab questions, in particular the Palestinian cause, which Algeria has always supported. We thank the President for his position against the normalization of relations with the Zionist entity and his refusal to participate or to support this process, affirming that the Palestinian cause remains sacred. We have high hopes for Algeria and its position through its support for the oppressed peoples, especially the Palestinian people. President Tebboune also insisted on the availability of Algeria to provide all the necessary support to the Palestinian people. We extended to President Tebboune our thanks for everything that Algeria has done for our noble cause, and this since the beginning of the armed Palestinian Revolution in 1965. Moreover, we expressed to the President of the Republic all the love that the Palestinian people has for the Algerian people.
According to a communiqué by the Presidency of the Republic on November 1st, 2021, when the Algerian people were celebrating the 67th anniversary of the outbreak of the National Liberation War in a festive and elated atmosphere, 3 Algerian nationals were cowardly killed by a barbaric bombardment targeting their truck convoy while they were making the Nouakchott-Ouargla trade route connection. The Algerian authorities immediately took necessary steps to probe this despicable act in order to find out about the circumstances of this incident. Several clues point to the Moroccan occupying forces in Western Sahara as having committed this cowardly attack with sophisticated weaponry. This new manifestation of aggressiveness is clearly of a known policy of territorial expansion and terror. The 3 innocent victims of this act of state terrorism will join on this glorious day of November 1st, the martyrs of the National Liberation War, which make of New Algeria the citadel of the values and principles of its internal history. Nevertheless, the assassination shall not go unpunished, the communiqué of the presidency concluded. To a different story now, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, extended his sincere condolences to the family and relatives of the late Major General Farid Bedreet. head of the Communication, Information Systems and Electronic Warfare Department of the National Defense Ministry, who passed away on Tuesday following health complications after recovering from COVID-19. In a message addressed to the late Major General or General's family, the President of the Republic said, quote, "It is with great sadness that I learned the terrible news of the passing of Major General Farid Badrid. I pray to Allah the Almighty to grant him His holy mercy and welcome him into His vast paradise, and grant his family and loved ones all the courage and strength they need to overcome this sad ordeal. Verily we belong to Allah, and verily to Him do we return." Following the death of Major General Farid Badrid, head of the Communications and Information System and Electronic Warfare Department of the National Defense Ministry, the Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Lieutenant General Saeed Chingriha, headed on Wednesday morning to the Mohammed Saghir Nakas Central Hospital of the Army in Ain Narja, here in Algiers, and recited the Fatiha, or the opening chapter of the Holy Quran, to pray for his soul. The ceremony took place in the presence of the Commanding Army General of the Republican Guard, the Secretary General of the National Defense Ministry, commanders of armed forces, the Commander of the National Gendarmerie, the Commander of the 1st Military Region, heads of departments, directors, and heads of central departments of the National Defense Ministry, and members of the National People's Army personnel. In the respectful circumstance, the Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Lieutenant General Saeed Chingriha, extended his own and the National People's Army's sincere condolences and deep compassion to the family and loved ones of late Major General Farid Badrid, praying to Allah the Almighty to welcome him in His vast paradise. Algerian nationals were barbarically assassinated while traveling from Nouakchott to Ouargla, according to a statement released by the Presidency of the Republic, which pointed out to the involvement of the Moroccan occupation forces in Western Sahara. The families and loved ones of the deceased expressed their sorrow and rage towards this despicable act. Manal Omari has the details.
The Presidency of the Republic released a communiqué on Wednesday indicating that while the Algerian people were celebrating the 67th anniversary of the outbreak of the glorious national revolution, 3 Algerian nationals were cowardly assassinated in a bombardment of their truck convoy while they were traveling between Nouakchott and Ouargla. The communiqué added that the Algerian authorities immediately took all the necessary arrangements following this despicable act to uncover its circumstances, adding that several clues point to the involvement of the Moroccan occupation forces in Western Sahara using advanced weapons. According to the Presidency of the Republic, the assassination of these 3 innocent victims will not go unpunished. The attack was strongly condemned by the political class as well as parties and the civil society. In the Ghawat and Ouargla provinces, the families of the victims expressed their sorrow and rage regarding this heinous crime.
The Finance and Budget Committee heard on Wednesday a presentation made by the Minister of Public Works, Kamal Nasri, concerning the sector's budget within the Finance Law 2022. The Minister announced that an envelope of 107.30 billion dinars has been released for the implementation of new programs in the sector. Foreign Affairs Minister Ramtala Mamra chaired on Wednesday the double celebration of the 21st anniversary of the UN Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security. More details with Melissa Kabash.
Algeria remains deeply attached to the principles and objectives of the founding charter of the United Nations, as well as its positions, which Algeria vigorously defends, assuring its support to the oppressed peoples in their struggle for independence and their right to self-determination.
Algeria will continue to support the Palestinian and Sahrawi peoples in their legitimate struggle for independence and self-determination. I would like to announce that Algeria has presented its candidacy as a non-permanent member in the Security Council of the United Nations for 2024-2025. We already have the support of the Arab League and the African Union.
The resident coordinator of the United Nations in Algeria, Alejandro Albarez, underlined for his part the crucial proactive role of Algeria and its diplomacy for the promotion of peace and security. This day was also marked by the commemoration of the 21st anniversary of Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security. We are working to promote the role of women and their involvement in society, and especially in politics.
We would like to involve more women in the decision-making process because women have better influence when working in partnerships. We also insisted on having women in the military and law enforcement.
Thus, evoking the brave women who fought during the National Liberation War is the best tribute a society could pay to these women and their heroic efforts to gain Algeria's independence.
Among the attendees of the meeting, Samia Nkrumah, the daughter of Ghana's first president, Kwame Nkrumah. She evokes in this exclusive interview with our channel the role of her father in the African movement, as well as the importance of Algeria in the African continent.
First of all, I'm happy to be here at this particular time, just when you were commemorating and celebrating 1st of November, the beginning of the Algerian Revolution. And being here at this time has inspired all of us. And I recall the strong relations, the strong cooperation between African countries and the Algerian people throughout the independence struggle. Now, if we speak about Ghana, my base, where I come from, our dear father, Kwame Nkrumah, was Ghana's independence leader and first president. And the moment Ghana became independent in 1957, he said that the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. So as soon as we became independent, we started helping some independence movements, but particularly a big, great country like Algeria. So Ghana opened an office for Frantz Fanon to coordinate the campaign to help Algerian soldiers and warriors. Ghana also recognized the provisional government of Algeria before the end of the, before Algeria gained independence. And the moment Algeria became independent, it became a focal point for all African liberation movements, for countries that were not yet independent. And there were military bases here, and many countries, many fighters came to train here. And that is why it's a great honor for me to be here with President Chissano, former President Chissano of Mozambique.
That's it for our time. Good night.